Heavenly Revelation. 3 divine signs confirm your sacred renewal is manifested. Don't stop now. On a quiet Thursday evening in the heart of the quaint English village, Emma knelt beside her bed, enveloped by shadows and a heaviness in her heart. She whispered fervent prayers to St. Clare, desperation soaking through each word. "Show me that my faith is not in vain," she begged. Just as she finished, a breath of warmth swirled around her, an inexplicable presence wrapping her in solace. The next morning, with each step to the chapel, a gentle light pierced through the gray clouds above, illuminating the cobblestone streets. Emma's heart quickened. Was this her sign? It was then she stumbled upon Mr. Thompson, the village elder, standing tall despite his frail frame. Their eyes locked, and, as if the world hushed, he uttered, "Dear child, you seek hope, and it is here. You are not alone." His voice held a weight that echoed through the annals of her soul, igniting a spark of hope, countering the despair that had taken root. Once gathered at the chapel, the prayer meeting buzzed with an energy that was palpably alive. Neighbors she hardly knew appeared, carrying trays of warm food and offering heartfelt words of encouragement. The air shimmered with a shared spirit, igniting renewed strength in Emma. Was it not divine intervention? But within the depths of her heart, doubt lingered, whispering that perhaps this was merely kindness, not the miraculous touch she prayed for. On Sunday, during a heartfelt service, Emma witnessed a miracle unfold before her eyes. A fellow parishioner, once bedridden, stood and praised God with a voice that rang like church bells through the chapel, igniting the hearts of all present. The congregation erupted in joyful worship, and the sacred atmosphere thickened. For a fleeting moment, Emma felt a warmth envelop her, an embrace from the divine itself, rekindling her faith. Yet she wrestled with questions. Could these moments truly be divine signs, or just coincidences disguised as miracles? As the week unfolded, despair clawed at the edges of hope. In a painful confrontation, Michael's struggle with addiction tore through their lives once again. Emma found herself questioning everything. Should she yield to despair, or trust the signs she had seen, the tender embrace of a loving community rallying around her? The church gathered in collective prayer for Michael, and an unwavering sense of strength began to grow all around her. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the heart of that chapel, Emma clung to her faith, the warmth of hope flooding back in, yet shadows still danced within her mind. Would she recognize the divine intervention that lay ahead, or let her doubts steal away the miracles already in motion? Could she lead her family, wounded and weary, toward the light? Emma stood, poised on the edge of change, heart alive with a divine promise. Her journey into faith was only just beginning. The following days passed with a quiet intensity around the village, each dawn breaking like an unspoken prayer. Emma's heart danced between hope and fear, a delicate rhythm that mirrored the shifting nature of her faith. She found herself wandering the paths near the chapel more often, each step grounding her in a sense of community, yet elevating her soul towards something greater. One sunny afternoon, as the flowers bloomed vibrantly, she met Lily, a young girl from the congregation, skipping rocks by the riverbank. "Hello, Emma. Do you want to play?" Lily's laughter rang clear, seemingly untouched by life's burdens. In that moment, Emma was reminded of the innocence that faith brings, a belief that everything would be all right in the end. As they played, Lily shared stories of her own challenges, of her father's illness, which had once seemed insurmountable. "But when I pray, I see the light," she said with wide, trusting eyes. Emma's heart swelled at the depth of the young girl's faith. It was pure, unwavering. In her perspective, Emma saw a reflection of her own heart's desire, a resolution to trust despite the darkness lurking nearby. Later that week, during the evening service, the chapel was alive with a feeling of expectancy. As hymns filled the air, Emma caught snippets of conversations that swirled around her like the gentle breeze outside. It was as though hope settled on the congregation, weaving through their souls, stitching together the frayed edges of their lives. "Have faith," whispered Mrs. Blake, the kind-hearted widow seated in the front pew, "for miracles are just waiting to be seen." Emma felt drawn to the wisdom in those words, yet her heart trembled at the responsibility of holding on to such faith amid Michael's struggles. After the service, Emma approached the altar, her knees sinking onto the cool stone floor. With tears shimmering like morning dew, she released her worries to God. "Please, help Michael to see the light," she prayed fervently, her voice breaking with emotion. The silence that followed held an abiding peace, as though heaven itself paused to listen. Days turned into nights, each encounter drawing Emma closer to the divine tapestry being woven in her life. Unexpected blessings began to trickle in, a kind word from a neighbor, a surprise visit from an old friend, moments of laughter shared with family. They felt like threads of divine grace, affirming her belief that she was not alone in her journey. One evening, when dusk painted the sky with hues of gold and lavender, Emma heard soft music coming from the chapel. Curiosity sparked. She followed the melodies, finding a gathering of villagers sharing stories and singing hymns. They formed a beautiful circle of light and love. In that moment, Emma felt illuminated, surrounded by souls bound together by shared faith. Amid this gathering, a voice called out, "Tonight, let's pray for those we love who are lost." The words hung in the air, pregnant with hope, and Emma felt the eyes of the community upon her. Michael's name surfaced unbidden, igniting a passion within her. Will she find the strength to share her heartache? Will their collective prayers usher in the miracle she longs for? As they bowed their heads, Emma took a deep breath, ready to embrace the unfolding mystery of faith. What awaited her remains to be seen. A profound truth behind every prayer, a shimmering promise just beyond reach. Would she dare to believe? As the congregation gathered in prayer, Emma felt a wave of warmth wash over her. She closed her eyes and focused on the sound of their voices merging into a sweet, harmonious melody, a divine echo carrying her deepest longings to the heavens. Each heartfelt petition became like a thread, connecting her spirit to theirs, binding them in that sacred moment. "Lord," she whispered, in the stillness of her heart, "we seek your light among our shadows." Every breath drew her deeper into the fabric of faith woven by love and desperation. The whispers of vulnerability hung like incense in the air, curling upwards, finding their way to the divine. When she opened her eyes, she saw Lily looking back at her, eyes sparkling with faith more powerful than any storm. "Emma, do you think God can really change things?" Lily asked, her voice both innocent and profound. "Yes, sweet girl," Emma replied, a smile breaking across her face. "I believe he can." But deep inside, a flicker of doubt struggled against the light she wanted to embrace. Later that night, as the moon cast its silver glow, Emma found her way home, her heart beating with a renewed urgency. Determined, she penned a letter to Michael, pouring her heart onto the page. She wrote of love, of faith, and the miracles she had witnessed, even in the smallest corners of her life. "Dear Michael," she began, "I miss you terribly. I want you to know that I've been praying for you every day. There is hope waiting for you. If you open your heart, I believe you will feel it." As dawn broke the following day, the light spilled into her room like a promise of new beginnings. Inspired by the commitment of their prayers, Emma decided to invite Michael to visit the village. The thought exhilarated her. Would this be a step toward healing? With each passing hour, anxiety bubbled beneath her skin. What if he rejected her invitation? What if he wasn't ready to embrace the faith she cherished? Yet she remembered the power of those collective prayers. prayers from the night before, and how they clung to her like a protective shield. In the days that followed, Emma's life buzzed with the excitement of expectation. She immersed herself in preparations for Michael's arrival, gathering small tokens of joy from her community: a quilt from Mrs. Blake, fresh bread from the baker, flowers from the garden. She wanted him to feel the spirit of unity that enveloped the village, a warmth that spoke of hope and belonging. On the afternoon of Michael's visit, the sun shone brightly, as if nature herself celebrated this reunion. Emma stood by the chapel door, her heart racing. She could see the familiar figure walking toward her, yet a heaviness hung between them like a silent storm. "Michael!" she called, her voice breaking slightly. He looked up, and in that instant their eyes met, bridging the gap that had stretched so long. Emma's heart soared, but was quickly followed by a flutter of fear. How could she convey the depths of her faith in this moment? Michael stepped forward, uncertainty etched on his face. "Emma, I came because I wanted to see you, but I don't know if I can believe." Tears brimmed in her eyes, a mix of joy and heartache. "It's okay. Just be here," she urged gently. "We're about to pray again, together, as a community. Let's take this journey one step at a time." And as they entered the chapel, the warmth of faith enveloped them. Emma knew this moment was significant, that something was about to shift, something divine. The atmosphere pulsed with unspoken hope as more villagers filled the pews, eyes turning toward the pair with unyielding love. What lay ahead remained uncharted, but in this moment a collective heartbeat resonated, echoing a truth that had always lingered in faith. Together, having shared prayers could indeed spark miracles. Would Michael find that light among the darkness? Emma prayed that he would, and that they would discover what faith could truly manifest. As they settled into the wooden pews, the chapel filled with an undeniable energy, a holy restlessness that danced in the air. Emma sat beside Michael, her pulse racing, waiting for the moment their hearts could align in prayer. The familiar faces of the villagers beamed upon them, radiating a warmth that seemed to whisper, "You are loved, you are welcomed." The congregation began to pray, their voices rising like a gentle tide. Words flowed freely, an unchained chorus of faith, desperation, and hope. In that atmosphere, even Michael, who battled with doubt, felt a tremor of something beyond himself. It wasn't just a gathering, it was a gathering for grace, a vessel for divine connection. Emma's heart swelled as she echoed the prayers in her mind, seeking to draw Michael closer to the source of all light. She grasped his hand, praying silently that he could feel the same warmth she felt, that he would somehow open his heart to the possibility of faith. The prayer became a canvas painted with the tears and joys of everyone present. "Lord, we ask for your guidance," the pastor's voice resonated, as if every syllable was crafted with love. "May we find your peace in our struggles, your joy in our hearts." Michael squeezed Emma's hand, looking deeply into her eyes, as if she held the answers to the questions troubling his soul. In that gaze, shadows of doubt flickered, while glimmers of hope dared to break through. As the prayer ended, the pastor invited everyone to share testimonials of their own faith journeys. One by one, villagers rose to their feet, sharing stories of trials that had turned into triumphs, moments when light pierced through the darkness. Emma listened with rapt attention, her heart resonating with each story. "She healed from cancer after years of prayer," Mrs. Blake shared, voice trembling yet firm. "And I found my calling when I thought all was lost." Tears streamed down Emma's cheeks, and she turned to Michael, whose expression was softening. These stories were making an impact. He was listening. She could see the wall he had built slowly crumbling, brick by brick. "Every story is a testament," the pastor concluded, a warm smile shining on his face. "Proof that our faith, no matter how small, can move mountains. God walks with us through every season." In that moment, Emma felt as if the air crackled with divine presence. It was tangible, a sense of overwhelming love enveloping the chapel. She closed her eyes, envisioning the prayers swirling around them, lifting hopes to the heavens. "Michael, would you like to speak?" the pastor gently prompted. The silence that followed hung heavy, but within it lay a sacred vacuum, waiting to be filled. Michael's face paled as he glanced around, the weight of vulnerability resting heavily on his shoulders. Would he dare? I'm not sure what I can say," he finally began, his voice barely above a whisper. The tension tightened in Emma's chest. "I've carried a lot of darkness with me. I don't know if I believe, but maybe I want to." A collective gasp echoed in the sanctuary, rippling through the congregation. Emma's heart soared with hope and trepidation. Michael was reaching. He was yearning, standing on the precipice of something profoundly beautiful. "Then come," Emma breathed, feeling an inexplicable surge of courage. "Just take a step forward." As she spoke, a radiant light burst through the chapel windows, illuminating the faces surrounding them like soft halos. The moment felt divine, as if heaven itself was watching, waiting for Michael to respond to the invitation of faith. What unfolding truth awaited their hearts? Would Michael step boldly into the light beyond his doubt? Emma could almost hear the whisper of the divine, nudging her forward, into an unexpected revelation. What might God reveal next? Michael stood at the edge of vulnerability, caught in a moment that felt suspended in time. The warmth of the chapel enveloped him like a soft blanket, and he could hear the whispers of the congregation as they held their breath in anticipation. Emma's unwavering gaze drew him forward, a lighthouse guiding him through his storm. His heart raced. The flickering doubt in his mind battled against the tide of emotion swelling in his chest. What if this isn't real, he wondered. Yet another part of him longed to believe, to find comfort in the faith that had carried others through despair. And then he felt it, a gentle push inside, a nudge from a place deep within, one he couldn't quite name. It was as if the very air was filled with the promise of renewal. Maybe this is the moment, he thought. Each soul in the room seemed to lean in closer, urging him gently to embrace what lay ahead. "Michael," the pastor encouraged, voice steady and warm, "let this be your offering to God. Speak from your heart." He took a deep breath, gathering strands of courage woven with the hopes of those around him. "I often feel lost," he began, his voice still shaky but stronger than before. "But hearing your stories, they touch something deep inside me. I have spent so much time living in doubt, but I realize now that maybe it's time to let that go." As his words flowed, something shifted within him. With each admission, he shed a layer of fear. "I want to believe. I want to feel the peace you all talk about." A wave of warmth seemed to wash over the congregation, rippling through every corner of the chapel. A few murmurs of encouragement erupted, the kind of murmurs that felt like God breathed life into emotional embers, igniting a steadfast fire. Tears pooled in Emma's eyes as she witnessed the thawing in Michael's spirit. She squeezed his hand tighter, her heart dancing alongside his courage. The chapel was alive, each word of Michael connecting them all, drawing them into a dance of faith. "Lord," Michael continued, emotions raw yet powerful, "if you hear me, I want to take that step towards faith. I may not know where it leads, but I am willing. I am willing to try." At that moment, the room erupted into soft applause, an affirmation that echoed deep in Michael's heart. He could feel the energy in the air shift. Was that divine joy he sensed? He looked around, seeing faces lit by affirmation, by God's unwavering love. The pastor stepped closer, his eyes twinkling with compassion. "What a beautiful step you've taken, Michael. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about the journey towards the one who does. Know that you are not alone. Suddenly, a light, brighter than before, streaked across the room, filling every corner of the chapel with a golden hue. It was as if heaven itself had opened up, showering them all in grace. Gasps filled the air, and Emma felt goosebumps arise, the very hairs on her arms standing at attention. In that moment, hope surged. Through Michael, what had once been an insurmountable wall of uncertainty now felt like an open door. Maybe faith is about the little signs, moments we could easily overlook but are from God, he thought. The pastor raised his hands, and the congregation joined him, their voices rising in an echo of praise. Come, let us worship together. Let us enter into this experience of grace. As they sang, the music flowed like a river, filling every crevice of doubt with hope. Emma glanced at Michael, her heart swelling with gratitude. He's stepping forward. He's tasted the light, she marveled. But the journey wasn't over. It was only beginning. What challenges lay ahead? How would Michael navigate his newfound faith? And what signs would thread themselves into his life next? Emma felt the gentle stirring of anticipation, an understanding that their lives had been forever intertwined in this sacred dance of belief. God was revealing the path, but how would they walk it together? The next chapter awaited, full of the divine mystery and the adventures of faith, even as the gentle echo of the past sang softly in the background. As the final notes of worship faded and a serene hush enveloped the chapel, Michael felt a shift in the very atmosphere around him. The golden light that had graced them lingered in the corners of his heart, and doubt began to give way to an exhilarating sense of purpose. He turned to Emma, her eyes shimmering with a mix of pride and encouragement. "Do you feel that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper, as if the moment required a sacred hush. She nodded, eyes wide, wanting to capture every heartbeat of this beautiful awakening. With renewed clarity, Michael took his first steps deeper into the faith that had once felt so distant. "What's next, Emma?" he wanted to know, the promptness of his question reverberating through him. Next we watch for the signs," she exclaimed, smiling brightly. "They will come, just you wait. God speaks to us in ways we might never expect. We must stay open." "Signs," Michael pondered, recalling the tales he had heard of divine messages woven into everyday life. His heart quickened at the thought. What will they look like? "Just remember," Emma replied softly, "it could be a word, a friend, or even something surprising. Trust in God's timing. You'll know when it's meant for you." Emboldened by her words, Michael decided to share with the pastor the transformation he was experiencing. As he approached, the warmth of the man's smile welcomed him like an embrace. "Pastor, I want to keep this connection strong," he said earnestly. "Wonderful," the pastor beamed, leaning closer. "Faith is a journey, and the more you engage with it, the clearer the signs will become. Keep your heart open to God's whispers, Michael. They will guide you." Michael felt empowered by their conversation. There was an electric sense of potential coursing within every fiber of his being. After the service, he and Emma walked outside together under the now dimmed twilight sky. The stillness of the evening connected them, whispering promises of what was yet to come. Starlight began to twinkle, and a gentle breeze swayed the trees. "Look," Emma pointed excitedly. "Each star, a reminder of God's faithfulness in our lives." Michael gazed upward, his spirit alight with reverence. Did each star hold a story? Could it remind him of the light that had ignited his soul? Suddenly, he felt a flutter of unease creeping in. What if he misread the signs? What if he missed the moments meant for him? "Michael," Emma's voice cut through his spiraling thoughts. "You already took that leap. You're not alone. This is just the start." He nodded, feeling her confidence wrap around him like warmth. They began to talk about the small, sweet ways God had touched their lives. Moments stitched together by faith and pointillous grace. Then, unexpectedly, a shooting star soared across the dark canvas of the night. Michael's breath caught in his throat. Was this a sign? His heart raced as he realized, in that moment, it didn't matter if it was or not. What mattered was the connection formed in the warmth of faith, in the celebration of their journey ahead. "Make a wish," Emma said, eyes sparkling brightly. "It's a reminder of hope and renewal." Michael closed his eyes, feeling hope blossom anew within him. "I wish for guidance," he murmured silently. "I wish to see God's path unfold." As they made their way back, excitement bubbled between them, yet questions lingered in the air. What would these signs look like? How would they come to life in Michael's everyday existence? What new revelations awaited him around the bend? Would he recognize them when they appeared? And would he have the faith to follow? The evening deepened, thick with promise, leaving him eager for insight. But what awaited him on the horizon? Would he have the courage to act when the signs emerged? The journey had begun, yet its full adventure still loomed just out of reach, the next chapter waiting to unfold. The next morning greeted Michael with a soft golden light filtering through his window. He stirred awake, his heart still buzzing with the hope and anticipation from the night before. Each ray of sunlight spilled across his room like God's gentle embrace, reminding him that a new day had dawned, a canvas yet to be painted with divine possibilities. He dressed quickly, excitement bubbling within him. Today could be different. Today he would actively seek out the signs that Emma spoke about. Stepping outside, he inhaled the crisp morning air. It felt refreshing, cleansing. As he walked towards the cafe where he usually met Emma, he found himself reflecting on how many little things he often overlooked. The passing scenery flashed by, colors vibrant and alive. He could not ignore the intertwining of beauty and divine purpose in each moment. "Open my eyes, Lord," he whispered, feeling a stirring within him. At the cafe, Emma was already seated, her notebook spread open as she sipped her coffee. "Good morning," she greeted, her smile brightening the room even more. "Ready for an adventure?" Michael chuckled nervously. "As ready as I'll ever be." He took a seat across from her, curiosity bubbling alongside his unease. Their conversation flowed, unintentionally gravitating towards faith-filled stories. Emma recounted how she once saw a flower blooming in a parking lot, a testament to resilience amidst the concrete. "It reminded me that God shows up in the unlikeliest places," she said, eyes sparkling with conviction. "Do you think the signs will come like that?" Michael asked. "In unexpected places?" "Exactly," Emma nodded. "It's often the smallest gestures that carry the biggest messages. Sometimes we just need to listen, really listen." Michael felt invigorated by her words, as if a sense of clarity brushed away his worries. He shared the image of the red bird, inviting Emma to help him explore the possibility of divine connection. "Let's make it a day of looking for signs," she declared, enthusiasm infectious. "After here, let's head to the park and see what unfolds." Their laughter rang out, light and free, as they shared the hopeful energy of pursuit. The park was alive with the sounds of laughter, children playing, and leaves rustling in the soft breeze. It felt sacred, like God's garden, bustling with signs for those willing to see. As they strolled through the paths, Michael paused at a bench, captivated by a group of elderly folks talking animatedly. One old man's laughter was contagious, igniting smiles among his friends. Michael couldn't help but think of the joy faith brings as he observed the camaraderie. "See that?" Emma pointed subtly. "Joy is one of the greatest signs of God's presence. It threads through everything." Just then, Michael noticed a feather lying at his feet, soft and white. He picked it up, feeling its delicate nature. "Maybe this is a sign of something," he mused. "A reminder of purity and angels?" "Absolutely," Emma said with illumination in her eyes. "Sometimes signs are gentle nudges, reminding us we're never alone. Keep it as a token of faith." Michael tucked the feather carefully into his pocket, a symbol of the journey beginning to unfold before him. The day faded into evening, and a feeling of unexpected peace enveloped him. Yet still, there were unanswered questions drifting through his mind. What would happen next? If this was merely the beginning, what more did God have in store for him? Would he be prepared to embrace it? With that, Michael felt a swell of hope rising within him, a longing to seek, to witness. But what awaited him next on this path of discovery? Would faith draw back the curtain on miraculous signs, or would the journey hold challenges he must face? Uncertainty lingered, quietly beckoning him forward into the realm of divine unfolding. The following morning, Michael awoke with a sense of eagerness that danced through him like sunlight piercing the clouds. He felt a shift within his spirit, a gentle tug urging him to dive deeper into the signs and wonders that Emma had inspired him to look for. Today, he vowed to pay attention to the world around him, keenly aware of the possibility that God was speaking in whispers all around. As he poured his morning coffee, he glanced out of the window and noticed the garden behind his house. The flowers seemed to sway in harmony with the gentle breeze, as if rejoicing in their existence. "A reminder that life thrives in grace," he said to himself, stirring his coffee absent-mindedly. Setting out for the cafe, he couldn't shake the feeling bubbling in his heart. The drive was filled with anticipation, each mile stretching out a sense of purpose before him. Upon arriving, he spotted Emma waiting outside, her face lit by the morning sun. "You look like a man on a mission," she exclaimed, her laughter being a sweet morning melody. "Maybe I am," he replied, his heart racing. "Maybe today is the day I really see." Over coffee, they talked about their day's plans. "Let's head to that old bridge by the river," Emma suggested. "I always find it peaceful there. Who knows, maybe God will surprise us." Their journey to the bridge was filled with light-hearted banter, yet both held the underlying current of sacred expectation. As they walked, Michael allowed the moments to wash over him. The vibrant colors of the trees and the laughter of children echoed like praises on the wind, drawing him into a closer connection with the Creator. Upon arriving at the bridge, the tranquil water glistened under the sun, casting rippling reflections that danced before their eyes. Emma closed her eyes for a moment, inhaling deeply. "This is a holy place," she breathed. "It feels like a thin place where heaven meets earth." Michael nodded, feeling the sacredness sink deep within him. As they leaned on the railing, he noticed a couple walking hand in hand, their smiles radiant, an unspoken testimony of love and faith. "Look at them," he said, gesturing. "That's something beautiful." "Love is a divine sign," Emma remarked. "It shows us how God works through us." Suddenly, a fluttering caught his eye. A bright blue butterfly danced around them, landing softly on a nearby flower. Michael's heart skipped a beat. "Is that a sign?" he whispered, captivated. "Absolutely," Emma replied with wide eyes. "It represents transformation and renewal. Just like your journey, Michael, you're in a season of growth." With that, Michael felt a warmth spread through his chest. The realization struck him deeply. He was shedding fears, doubts, and insecurities. Something holy was taking place within him, ever closer to the divine. As they stood on the bridge, a gentle breeze swirled around them, accompanied by birds singing overhead. It felt as if heaven itself celebrated the moment. "Let's pray," Michael suggested. Their hands intertwined, a soft communion arose between them, a symphony of gratitude. In the quiet of their prayer, Michael heard a distant sound, the faint echo of laughter mingling with the splashes of water below. It was as if the universe acknowledged their sacred moment, affirming that they were exactly where they were meant to be. Yet, as Michael opened his eyes, a flicker of doubt danced at the edges of his heart. "What if this transformation leads me to challenges I am not ready for?" he pondered silently. Just then, the butterfly took flight again, circling around them before disappearing into the horizon. Michael watched with bated breath, knowing that every sign held promise and every journey had its trials. As they left the bridge, a sense of urgency thrummed in the air. What more would they discover? What signs awaited them around the bend, whispering truths that were yet to be unveiled? He felt a gentle nudge beckoning him forward, drawing him deeper into the divine mystery. As they strolled away from the bridge, a warmth lingered in the air, a divine echo of the prayer they had just shared. Michael's heart brimmed with an eagerness to embrace the day, but the flicker of doubt still hovered in the shadows of his mind. He wanted to lean into the beauty around him instead of allowing uncertainties to dim his spirit. "Do you feel it?" he asked Emma, glancing to the sky where fluffy clouds played hide-and-seek with the sun. "It's as if something extraordinary is on the edge of breaking through." Emma stopped walking, her dark eyes sparkling. "Yes, it's like a promise lingering in the air, waiting for us to claim it. Sometimes all it takes is our willingness to embrace the unknown." "Embrace the unknown," Michael repeated softly, savoring the taste of those words. They were refreshing, like a sip of cool water after a long thirst. What if he could do just that? What if, in relinquishing control, he found freedom? They continued down the path, the sound of the river's soothing flow painting a rich backdrop to their conversation. Leaves rustled overhead, and the world felt alive, pulsing with a holy rhythm. Something sacred was at play, and Michael sensed it in his bones. Suddenly, a flock of birds swooped gracefully overhead. They glided in unison, their movements a mesmerizing dance that knitted together in a collective formation. Michael watched in awe, feeling the fleeting moment brush against his soul. "Look at them, Emma. They're so connected. I wonder if they realize the beauty their unity creates." "They remind us," she said, smiling brightly, "that we too are part of something greater. When we align with God, we move harmoniously through life." With each step they took, Michael felt a pulse of hope ignite in his heart, pushing back the shadows of fear. He could almost taste the freedom that came from trusting in God's plan. Maybe today is about more than just signs. Maybe it's about letting go and letting God. As a ray of sunlight broke through the trees, illuminating a patch of wildflowers ahead, Michael paused. "Let's sit there for a moment," he suggested, pointing to the vibrant bloom. They made their way over, settling in the soft grass, surrounded by a kaleidoscope of colors. The flowers danced lightly in the breeze, swaying like a joyful congregation in worship. Michael closed his eyes, inhaling the sweet fragrance. "What if renewal is all around us?" he mused, as he felt peace wash over him. "What if it's in the smallest of things, a butterfly, a bird, a gathering of hearts?" Emma gently rested her head on his shoulder. "It is, isn't it? God is in the beauty, the little miracles that lead us back to Him." Just then, a small golden feather floated down from above, landing between them. Michael picked it up, examining its delicate structure. "What a gift!" he exclaimed. "Isn't it a sign of lightness, of the Spirit lifting us up?" "Yes, a reminder that we are meant to soar." Emma's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. "Take it as a token of your journey ahead, Michael. You are being transformed." As they sat in silence, absorbing the potent energy of the moment, Michael's heart raced. Each breath deepened his understanding of the divine. Every sign, each flutter, every glimmer felt like a step closer to unfolding the plan God had woven into his life. But just as Michael felt swept up in this burgeoning joy, a thought crossed his mind. What if I ignore the signs? What if I don't recognize them when they come? Emma's voice broke through his worries. "The beauty of faith, Michael, is that it leads you even when you feel lost. It's about welcoming the adventure." With those words igniting something fierce within him, Michael realized this wasn't just about receiving signs. It was an invitation to lean into the mystery, to embrace what lay ahead. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden rays across the landscape, Michael sensed they were on the precipice of something profound. What revelation awaited them next? What challenges would turn into testimony?
He felt a deeper beckoning, calling him to trust, to journey onward into the unfolding adventure of faith. The sun rose magnificently over the village, colors of gold and pink spilling into the skies, a divine palette of hope. Michael sat up in bed, heart pulsating with a rhythm of renewed purpose. The journey of transformation he had embarked upon with Emma felt deeply touched in his spirit. He was ready to seek the signs he had been promised. Today was special. Today he would share his story. Each prayer whispered in vulnerability felt like a fortifying thread weaving him into the fabric of his community. Michael had witnessed the beauty of shared faith and wanted to inspire others as he had been inspired. At the chapel, the familiar warmth embraced him as he walked through the doors. Villagers greeted him with smiles, their eyes shining with love and acceptance. Emma stood by the altar, her presence a beacon of encouragement. "You ready?" she asked, beaming. "Yes," he replied, voice steady. "I want to share what I've learned." The service began, filling the chapel with sweet melodies and heartfelt prayers. Each note resonated through the air, creating an atmosphere thick with divine anticipation. The pastor welcomed Michael forward, and as he stepped into the circle of light, he felt the community's unwavering support surround him. "Good morning, everyone," he began, his voice trembling yet firm. "I stand here not as someone with all the answers, but as a fellow traveler on this faith journey. I've struggled with doubt, isolation, shadows that lingered in the corners of my heart. But through the love shared in this community, I found the strength to lean into faith." Moments of silence rippled through the chapel, and Michael could feel the congregation's hearts opening, ready to receive the truth he was offering. "One day," he continued, "I was lost and unsure, but then I saw signs everywhere, moments of beauty, laughter, and love. I realized God was speaking to me in whispers, urging me to let go of my fears. Emma taught me how to look for those signs." He turned toward her, gratitude shining brightly in his eyes. With each word, he shared the transformations, the red bird, the butterfly, and the golden feather. He spoke of the community's fervent prayers, the testimonies of others, and how their faith ignited a spark in him. "If I can evolve, can't we all? Can't we all lean into renewal?" Emotions bubbled to the surface, and as he glanced around, he noticed smiles of encouragement, nods of understanding, and glistening eyes. The presence of the divine wrapped around them all. "I ask you," Michael implored, "to keep your hearts open. Trust in those signs, however subtle they may be. God is relentless in his pursuit of you. Never forget that." As he finished, a stillness washed over the congregation, thick with understanding. Heartfelt applause broke like waves, echoing within Michael's soul, affirming his courage to share. Emma rushed to his side, tears sliding down her cheeks, a beautiful testament of pride and joy. In that moment, Michael felt a shift inside. A divine assurance enveloped him like a warm embrace. His vulnerabilities had become strengths, fear transformed into faith. God had woven a story through him, and he felt not just the belonging among the people, but their love in every heartbeat. The pastor offered a prayer, invoking blessings over Michael and every soul transformed by his testimony. Their voices intertwined, creating a chorus of unity that could pierce the heavens. May we witness signs of faith, miracles of grace every day. Declared, igniting hope. After the service, villagers gathered around Michael, sharing their own stories of divine moments they had experienced. They encouraged each other, laughter rising in a chorus of community love. Michael felt like a shepherd among shepherds, their collective faith palpable, alive, breathing a vigor he had previously thought was lost. Later that day, as he and Emma strolled through the vibrant village, their laughter danced on the air, mingling with the warmth of the sun. "You did it," she said proudly, nudging him. "You stepped into the light." "I couldn't have done it without you," Michael replied, a deep sense of camaraderie swelling within him. "This journey is ours." As they continued, Michael spotted a familiar flutter, the blue butterfly from before, dancing nearby. It landed softly on his shoulder, reminding him of the transformation he had embraced. "Look," he whispered to Emma, "God knew I needed reassurance." With her eyes wide, Emma smiled brightly. "That's the beauty of faith, Michael. It's about recognizing those gentle signs all around." As twilight descended, painting the world in softer hues, Michael and Emma sat on a grassy knoll overlooking the village, reflecting on the bright tapestry of life. "What will tomorrow bring?" he mused, with an eager heart. "Whatever it is," Emma said, "I know we'll be ready. We have faith, and more importantly, we have each other." With each note of laughter, every whisper of love, they sunk deeper into their shared purpose, a commitment to be healers and believers, mirroring God's light in both joyous and solemn moments. As the stars sparkled above, a profound peace settled within Michael. Every challenge met would turn into faith. Every sign witnessed would ignite love. The path ahead was uncertain, but it shimmered with promise, a beautiful revelation of God's unfolding design. Together they would walk hand in hand, following the divine signs, stepping boldly into tomorrow. In this moment, the journey felt like divine completion, a starting place, not an end. For faith, simply, is an everlasting adventure. Don't you want to continue this journey? Subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive faith stories that will bless your life. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find this message of hope. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about this powerful ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of faith. Don't wait even one more second. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting our community through these actions. Let's spread the light together.